What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Axom. My name is Junior, and today we're doing a Nintendo News recap episode. So let's get started. Okay, this is a crazy week for news. We have so much to go over. So let's go ahead and just jump into it with some hardware news. The new Joy-Con colors that we saw a few months ago are finally available. We now have the blue and neon yellow set, as well as a neon purple and neon orange Joy-Con set. It's definitely great to have some new colors. It's been a while since we got them. So now these two sets are finally available. And for those that love to mix and match and change your colors around on your Joy-Cons, this is a great time to buy some. As I mentioned before, I am more interested in the neon purple and orange, just because it's closer to Halloween and those colors fit perfectly. And they kind of also remind me of Wario, so there's also that going for it. I kind of wish that the yellow and the blue and neon yellow set was not neon, so I could buy both of them and completely make a Wario Joy-Con set. But that's okay too, this is great. We're still waiting on the green ones that I believe come out next month. So let's go ahead and jump over to some reports of a new Switch Lite model. If you're already bought a Switch Lite, don't worry, this is probably nothing big, but reports and rumors were running rampant after a new FCC filing was submitted by Nintendo for what appears to be a new Switch Lite version. The original Switch Lite was given an ID of BKE HDH001, and the new version in this filing has the same ID, only ending in 2. While many people started to report that there is a new Switch Lite coming out, the actual FCC filing doesn't actually give us too many details on what could be included with the new version of the Switch Lite. Most of the information in this filing is about Bluetooth and other wireless connection issues or connections. Some reports were guessing that the new version would fix the Joy-Con drift issues after a few reports of people having them with their brand new Switch Lites. While those issues have not been completely verified, some theories are pointing to them being dev kits. This is basically for developers to target the Switch Lite specifically and the features that make it different from the normal Switch. I'm gonna go with that route instead of a brand new Switch Lite version. Okay, next up we have software news. In this software news, we're going to start off with some updates that are available now. So let's jump off with that. The Switch system update is now available. This week we got the new system update to version 9.0.1, which doesn't provide too many new additions according to Nintendo. This update is mostly focused on stability. The 9.01 update resolves an issue that may have triggered errors during gameplay. Now, nothing was specified to what games or what errors, but it's there now if you were having any issues. Next up, for Switch Lite owners, the 9.01 update also changes some instructions that new owners would receive during setup of the system initially. During the setup of the Switch Lite, owners will receive instructions to remove their Joy-Cons, which is obviously not possible. So that step of the initial setup instructions have not been removed. And lastly, for this update, it seems to have removed a cool feature that was already there from the normal Switch. If you ever noticed when you're sliding in Joy-Cons on and off, you will see an animation on the side that was where you were removing the Joy-Con. You see an animation. What was pretty cool about that animation is that depending on what color Joy-Con you were taking off or putting on, that animation was the same exact color as well. But now, after this update, for some reason, those animations are clear. You can still see it, the animation going on when you're disconnecting or connecting it, but it's no longer connected to the color of the actual Joy-Con itself. So that's one thing that they removed. I'm hoping that they bring it back and that it was just a mistake in code. Next up is a Super Mario Maker 2 update. So Super Mario Maker 2 also received an update this week to version 1.1.0, which brings some features we were looking for since the game officially announced. This update now allows for co-op and versus play with people on your Nintendo Switch friends list. Previous to this update, any co-op or versus mode would be with random players online, but now we get to play with our friends, which wasn't initially part of the announcement, and is a great addition. And I'm hoping that they continue to add to this, and that the online mode is improved now that we can play with friends. In addition to the multiplayer stuff in the update, we also have a list of official makers in the leaderboard section. In there, we can find courses made for special events, as well as those made by official makers. So if you want some officially made courses or special event courses, you can head over to to the leaderboard section and find them much easier now. And lastly in the update is the ability to use touchscreen and buttons when creating courses in handheld mode. I haven't made a course in a while, but I think using touchscreen could definitely be easier than using the Joy-Cons. And it kind of reminds me of the Wii U version, so that's always great. Mario Kart Tour is doing amazing. It's now one of the best Nintendo mobile games to date, and after a full week of release, it is now up to 90 million downloads. And that is way up above the other highest game that Nintendo has made, which is Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, which hit 14 million in its first week. That's followed up by Super Mario Run at 13 million. So comparing Mario Kart with Super Mario Run in terms of financial success, I think Mario Kart Tour is doing amazing. And as of today, the game has made almost $13 million within the first week. But of course, we gotta remember that this is a free-to-play game mixed in with some loot boxes and microtransactions, whereas Super Mario Run was free to start and had you pay $10 to unlock the entire game after that initial demo. This free-to-play model is working, and developers will continue to use it, unfortunately, but it's working for Mario Kart, and you can't complain about that. And Nintendo has officially stated that they are also working on bringing the online play to Mario Kart Tour. This is one feature many people would have thought it was there at launch, but so far it has been missing. It will definitely be a good addition to the game, especially after giving us the ability to add friends. Now with this whenever they put this out, we'll be able to add our friends, play online just like normal Mario Kart. They didn't actually provide a specific date, but just knowing that they're working on it is always good. Next up, for anybody that remembers Brain Age, well, Brain Age is back somewhat. Nintendo has announced a new entry in the awesome Brain Age series that came out on the Game Boy DS. Those games provided some cognitive training and were very enjoyable and educational. After finishing the set of games, you would be provided with your Brain Age, which was a pretty cool feature. You get to determine what your brain's age was, depending on how well you did the math problems and everything, and definitely helped to get people thinking about improving on that number. But now Nintendo's bringing another game entry for the Nintendo Switch on December 27th, but as of right now, it looks like this is only for Japan. Nintendo provided a video showing some of the gameplay elements from previous entries that were still there, but also with some new additions because of the capabilities of the Switch. Like the DS version, player can use the touchscreen, microphone, and gyroscopes, but the Switch also has the IR blaster on the Joy-Con, which can also be used. And the video showed a rock paper scissors game using that IR blaster. They also showed some math problems to solve. The player was using a stylus, so you can technically still use your fingers on it on the touchscreen. If I remember correctly, Super Mario Maker 2 players in Japan also had a version with a stylus, so that makes sense that they're making more stylus games there. Near the end of the video, there was also a Dr. Mario mini game which was pretty cool. It had more of the classic top-down style versus the mobile version that we got a couple months back. Then let's see here, near the end of the almost 7-minute video, we saw the ability for the game to provide notifications to the player when it's time to play another session or something like that. This was a feature of the huge system update we had a few months ago, and in this video the Switch vibrates and then the notification light around the home button blinks, which is a cool addition and one of the first games that I've seen that actually uses this new notification option. Now, me personally, I hope that this game comes to the United States. I definitely enjoyed it playing the educational games on the DS, and I could see myself purchasing it again, especially for my kids. So this would be a great addition here. Okay, moving over to some Super Smash Bros. Ultimate news. The Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has a new event which just started as of October 3rd at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We now have a new tourney event called the Battle for Spirit Supremacy. This is a time-limited tourney, so make sure you get in there if you're interested. They will let you battle it out with your spirits enabled. So if you're interested, get your spirit squad set up to do battle. The further you advance in the tournament, the better spirits you will end up winning. So get your whole team of spirits to get the best spirits you have ready and jump into this new tournament. And then continuing on with the Super Smash Bros. News, let's talk about some characters for the 5th Challenger Pack. So over at Blizzard in Overwatch, the popular first-person shooter, that game is coming out in October 15th, and the developers there would definitely love to see some of their Overwatch characters added to the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate lineup. They're giving Nintendo and Masahiro Sakurai the go-ahead to use any of their characters, and Jeff Kaplan from Blizzard stated that he would love to see Tracer as one of the players in Super Smash Bros. Because to him, Tracer is the mascot for that game, and that would be a great addition, and that'll probably be the first one you would bring over because that's mascot. And since we don't know who the 5th fighter is in the Challenger Pack, we can only hope to find out soon, and maybe, just maybe, it will be Tracer from Overwatch. Okay, let's moving over to some Untitled Goose game. This game is now #1. I think I already knew that it was #1, at least in my heart. But now, the indie darling Untitled Goose game, starring a troublemaker Goose, is the #1 bestseller in digital download since launching on the 20th of September for the Nintendo Switch. This is coming from the developers over at House, and while we didn't get any numbers as far as sales goes, it is the #1 game, downloaded game in the US, UK, and Australia, showing just how truly enjoyable this game actually is. Now we're hoping that with the success of this game, the developer will start to think about maybe bringing some DLC to expand on that to-do list, maybe expand the town just a little bit bigger, and maybe other versions of the Goose, much like Goat Simulator did, different versions of the Goat. Just go ahead and just give us some new Goose. Still keep it cute style, but still a new Goose would be cool. If you've been living under a rock for like the last couple of weeks and would like to learn more, we did do a video going over the Untitled Goose game about a week ago, so please check it out. And after you're done with that video, just head over to the Nintendo Switch eShop and download this game. It's a must-have. So if you're ready for some cool stuff, here's some good stuff here. For anyone that grew up watching the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, this is an exciting thing to see. If you've never heard of this show, then I highly recommend Googling it. It was a pretty awesome cartoon slash live TV back in the day. And now a fan game is being developed by Jesus Lopez and his kids. Jesus has worked on games like The Simpsons Tapped Out and DuckTales Remastered. So all the animation on this game and the characters are hand drawn and they look amazing. For just one guy working alone with his kids, this is a great looking game so far. It resembles the cartoon sections of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, but also kind of brings the artwork style of Cuphead. I think we can all agree and hope that Nintendo does not shut this thing down and instead helps them to bring this out and maybe give them some funding to complete this thing. I mean, it looks amazing. Another 2D Mario game, but with the new aesthetic. I'm all up for it. And then lastly, in the news announcement, we have some Pokemon Sword and Shield updates. Once again, we got another huge load of information on Pokemon Sword and Shield from Game Freak and several interviews that Game Informer did with them. So first up is the National Pokédex not being included. One of the biggest controversies so far since the game was initially revealed was that the omission of the National Pokédex. Well, it seems that while the National Pokédex is not going to be in the game when it's released, it may come in the future afterwards through downloads. So that is definitely some positive news for those that were upset after the E3 announcement. Just know that it's not there now or in November when it comes out, but they are working on it. So just take a deep breath and know that it's coming, guys. The next up is they confirmed that autosaving is in there. In the interview, they were able to confirm that the autosave feature has been added to the game, which is a great feature for me because I don't want to lose my gameplay that I've done. But for those that would rather do it manually and just remember to do it, you can turn off the autosaves. And then lastly, the XP share and HMs are all gone. XP share items will not be returning to Sword and Shield. This is the item that would let you give it to one Pokemon, they will hold it, and during the battle they will share XP with the rest of the Pokemon that were actually battling. This was a way to level up that Pokemon if you weren't able to use them as much. Now for me, I prefer to not have it and just have an automatic XP share anyway, which is what we're going to have in Sword and Shield, and that's the way it worked in the previous version. But I do understand those that want the old way where you had to actually use the Pokemon in a battle to power them up. Not sure if this is optional or there's a way to go around it, but for now it's completely gone. Let's just get used to that. The HM or hidden machines are also not included in this game. Now these were the items that taught Pokemon new moves, kind of like TMs, but these can be used in a limited amount of times. And then the final thing that they announced were the 18 new gyms are going to be in Pokemon Sword and Shield. They'll be mixed in between a major and minor league, and the same gyms won't be in the same league all the time in each version. So that's a good way to mix them up. We still got to figure out if there's going to be specific ones to each version, but for now we do know that there's 18 and there's 2 leagues, so this is going to be a really huge game as far as battling goes and getting gym battles. So I'm super excited for November. I just can't wait for it to come out already.
Say, is that it?
Okay guys, now moving on to game releases for this week. So first up we have Ghostbusters, the video game remastered. Now this is obviously the remastered version of the classic action adventure game developed by Saber Interactive, and it's coming out just in time for Halloween so that we can capture all kinds of ghosts and ghouls. It's time to strap on the Proton Pack as the newest member of the Ghostbusters team, and then it actually features the likeness and voices of the original cast in movies. The game includes the awesome upgradable weapons we know and love, destructible environments, and ghosted enemies and bosses of all kinds and sizes to take. Next up, we have NeoCab, an adventure game developed by Chance Agency. Playing as Lena, one of the last human drivers for hire in the city. Driving your passengers around, you will need to interact with them and learn about each one and their own stories. The game includes a branching narrative, and while getting to know the passengers, your stories will end up crossing, and you will have to find your own route. It's up to you to manage your work-life balance while maintaining a 5-star rating. One Night Stand is an adventure game developed by Kinmoku. I'm going to be honest and say that the rotoscope animation, the drawn art style, and the premise of the game caught my attention, so I'm including it. In One Night Stand, we wake up next to a stranger, and looking around the room we have to search for clues in order to find out who this person is. This is an interactive story, and all your choices matter and will determine which of the 12 endings you will receive, each providing some extra details on what happened the night before. Okay, last up, let's keep this nostalgia kick going with our next game, which is Galaxy Champions TV, an action arcade game developed by Aquidin Games, and to me reminds me of Smash TV, one of my favorite games and genres, so that's why I'm including it. Well, Galaxy Champions TV is a top-down arena shooter, which they say is inspired by Smash TV, as you can tell. This twin-stick shooter features fun, fast-paced gunplay and exciting features for those that love chasing high scores. It includes more than 15 unlockable upgrades, 15 plus weapons, 15 plus types of enemies, 4 insane boss fights, and like all good games in this genre, it also includes 2-player local co-op. Okay everyone, if you liked the video, make sure to give us a thumbs up, it really does help us out. We also encourage you to subscribe to our channel and possibly consider supporting us through Patreon. And lastly, make sure to let us know in the comment section which of these games you're most excited about. Who would you like to see as the 5th fighter in the Challenger Pass? I still have my fingers crossed for Beautiful Joe. And then your thoughts so far on Mario Kart Tour. That's it for myself and the entire Axom team. We thank you for support and hope to see you in the next one. Take care everybody.